All right, so aggregate planning looks at the following: the number of workers required in production hours required, of course, the number of workers hired, the number of workers laid off, of course, the production units that are also required, the overtime units, the subcontracting units, and of course, the stock out cost, okay, and the stock out units. Now, the two strategies that are involved here, okay? So the first strategy is chase strategy or matching demand. So what is this strategy? So this is a strategy where the firm vary the size of workforce in order to have a production rate that matches the demand. So the firm vary the size of workforce simply by hiring and laying off workers. As a result, the firm incurs hiring and laying off costs. All right, so for this strategy, the firm produces the exact units required to meet demand. There is no inventory carrying cost for this strategy unless the firm has safety stock. Okay, so chase, you hire and fire workers. All right, so this strategy is used when the firm does not want to maintain the size of workforce. So this is a strategy where the firm does not want to maintain what? The size of workforce. All right, so they keep on hiring and firing workers. So the following costs are involved in the chase strategy: the hiring cost, the layoff cost. Of course, the straight time cost or regular production. All right, where we simply say straight time cost is equal to production hours multiplied by the cost per hour. So production hours multiplied by the cost per hour. Or straight time cost is equal to production units multiplied by the cost per unit. So here the firm does not incur the following costs. There is no subcontracting. The firm should not incur subcontracting cost. There is no overtime cost. There is no stock out cost, as well as the carrying cost, unless the firm has safety stock. All right. So this is what happens. The reason why the firm does not incur the above costs is because they would have either hired or laid off workers and incurred either hiring or layoff costs. So there are three major costs of the chase strategy, which is the hiring cost, the layoff cost, and the straight time cost. All right, so we now get down to the other strategy, which is a pure level strategy. It's a strategy where the firm maintains a steady workforce and production. They do not want to hire or fire workers. So they do not want to hire or fire workers. There is no hiring or layoff costs. So if the firm cannot produce to meet the demand, they can either incur the following costs. So if the state workforce cannot produce to meet demand, they can allow those constant workers to work overtime. Okay, if they cannot produce to meet demand, they don't want to hire a layer of workers. So there are maybe 100 workers who cannot meet the demand. So they can allow overtime. So we can either allow overtime. Then, of course, if we cannot allow overtime, there is aspect of subcontracting. Okay, where they incur the subcontracting cost. Then, if they cannot allow overtime and subcontract, they can now just declare that they don't have stock. So they have what we call the stock out. Cost of losing business is what we call stock out cost or back order cost. Okay, so back order cost is the same as the stock out. Okay, so these what is what goes on. So we have the stock. Okay, so stock out cost. Okay, so the stock out cost is also called back order cost. Okay, so back order cost. All right, so this is what goes on. Okay, so we are simply saying that if the company has constant workers who cannot produce to meet the demand, they can incur either of the above costs. They cannot incur all the costs at the same time. They can choose which one is cheaper among the three provisions. So they can choose either overtime or the subcontracting or the aspect of the stock out. Okay, so these are the three provisions. So among the three, they will choose which one is actually cheaper. All right. So now the pure level strategy is calculated by summation of demand minus beginning stock over the number of periods. So pure level strategy is calculated by summation of demand minus the beginning stock over number of periods. Here we cannot produce what is already there. That's why we are subtracting the beginning stock from the formula above. All right. So for the pure level strategy, the firm should choose the cheapest mode among the three provisions, like I mentioned, overtime, subcontracting, or the stock out cost. They cannot incur all the costs at the same time. Okay, they will need to choose with one which is cheaper. So we have this question here. You can read this question for us. What is the question about? You can read for us this question.
Is it the Sunshare question?
Yes.
Okay. Sunshare Limited produces a variety of furniture products. The operations manager wants to prepare an aggregate plan for the next 5 months. Demand forecasts are given below. So there's the table given. The cost of production per unit using regular time is $50. Using overtime, it's $75. And using subcontracting, it's $80. Inventory holding cost per unit per period is $5. Back order cost is $60 per unit. Hiring cost $150 per worker. The firing cost is 200. The firing cost is 200 per worker. Currently, there are 12 workers and each can produce 15 units per period. Workers can be hired or fired, but at most only 12 workers can be on the row. However, capacity is 30 units per period and subcontracting capacity is 10 units per period. Beginning inventory is 0. No back order is allowed at the end of the 5th month. When computing number of workers needed, make sure you round the number up to a whole number. and then tackle the following questions. Firstly, develop an aggregate plan using chase strategy and determine the cost. Then develop an aggregate plan using a level strategy and determine cost. And lastly, which plan should be used?
Okay. All right. So you've seen what is going on there. So yes. So now the most important aspect here is that if we are to go for a chess strategy, like I mentioned, you hire and fire workers. There are currently two workers, okay, and this can produce 15 units per period, okay. Then the other information is that workers can be hired or fired, but at most only two workers can be on the roll. So meaning they shouldn't exceed the 12. It can be anything 12 or less. All right. So that's what we have. Then when you compute the number of workers, make sure you round the number up, not down, up to the whole number. So meaning if you should you find 12.1, if you find 12.1, 12.1 will give us 13. We round up. Okay, round up to the whole number, so that's what it means. All right. So we now move on. So you can see it's the same question we're looking at. So it's this one here. So quickly, as we do the solution, we have the same question here. Beginning inventory is 0, and okay, so the chess strategy is this one. So beginning inventory, so the demands are these ones. Then beginning stock is 0. So what are we going to do? You produce to meet the demand. And also, so you're going to produce the 150 here. Here you produce the 170. Here you produce the 180. Here you produce the 160. You are producing to match the demand. So now, how many workers are we requiring?
At most number of workers should have been 12, if I'm not mistaken.
12 was just a current workforce. 12 was just a current workforce. But of course, now, since 12 was just a current workforce, then we are producing, one person is producing 15 units. So it will be 150 divided by 15 throughout here. 170 divided by 15. You know where 15 is coming from? We are simply saying one worker. So you have one worker, okay, is able to produce how many units? 15. So 15 units. So this is one worker, okay? So now the aspect of us dividing these by 15. So this is how we are finding these workers here. Okay, I'm sure it's clear how we are how we are dividing these production units by 15 units. You can see Current workforce is what? 12 workers, but each can produce 15 units. Okay, so you know what it means here, not so?
Yes.
So meaning that's why we are dividing by 15 now. Okay, we are dividing by 15. So this is where the 15 is coming from. Okay, so we're dividing by 15, 15, 15, 15, 15. So here we are 10 workers, and here we have 12 workers. Here we have also 12. Here we have 11. Here we have 11 also. So meaning what happened for us to have 10 here when the current workforce was 12? What happens here for us to have this 10?
You laid off
Yeah, so we laid off for how many? We laid off two.
two.
We laid off for two workers. So meaning that's why we are finding the number of workers laid off. We are the two that we laid off. Okay. Then what happened to month two? To month two, what happened?
Month two, we hired. The number went up by two.
By two. So we hired two workers here. Then month three, we maintained workforce. We didn't hire or we didn't lay off. Okay. We didn't hire or lay off. So there is a maintenance in workforce here. Okay. Then month four, what happened to month four?
We laid off
Month four, we laid off. Okay. So we laid off one. Month four, we laid off one. Then month five, we maintained workforce. We didn't hire or five. So here we maintained workforce here. So you check the month. So here is a two. So hiring cost, it was 150. You check from there. Our hiring cost was 150. Our hiring cost was 150. Okay. Our hiring cost was 150. So multiplied by how many workers were hired. Okay, for us to get the value. Then we had now looked at the aspect of where we laid off. The layoff cost was how much? Layoff cost or firing cost was 200.
200.
So it was 200 per week. Okay. So that's why there was a need to actually multiply. So we're doing a multiplication there. So the total firing or laying of cost gave us the 600. The hiring cost was the 300. Then what next? What next is that as we are looking at the regular cost, is production units multiplied by the cost per unit. So regular cost was $50. Okay, so our regular cost was $50. That was our regular cost. Okay, so our regular costs were the $50 here. Okay, so $50 per unit. Okay, so this is it, actually what goes on. All right, so, and then, so meaning as we multiply, we are getting these values here, 75 plus 85 plus 9,000 plus 8,000 plus 8,000 plus 4. This is giving us 41,000. So the total cost is 41,900. Is it clear so far?
Clear on my part.
Okay, then the other, okay, Madam Wanga, are we okay? Have you gotten it? All right, so
Yes, it is. I just wanted to find out, I think where I was left behind is if the question says that we round off to the next whole number. So meaning there, if we say 170 divided by 15, because it's going to be 11.3, but now we are rounding off to 12. Shouldn't it just remain 11 because 3 is less than 5?
they said
We round off to the next whole number. Isn't that what they say?
we round up, not down.
Or we round up? Huh?
Is here is this statement here. You round up. You round up to
Okay.
the number.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So that is the reason why.
Okay, thank you.
You get my point, right? So that's the reason why. So we now move on to the level strategy. So our level strategy is equal to summation of demand minus the beginning stock over number of periods. So you add the demands for all the periods. Okay, so what will be the demand for the periods? So add 150 plus you add these, so how much are you getting? So the demand is the total demand, what are we getting?
I think I have 820 on my part.
Yeah, so it's 820. So that 820 now minus the beginning stock. So it will be 820 minus the stock that you already have. Okay, so 820 minus the stock that you already have, which
Okay,
is
which beginning inventory is 0.
uh, so our beginning inventory is 0. So since our beginning inventory is 0, you cannot produce what you already have. So you know how to why you're subtracting beginning inventory from the total production minus what would have been there already. So that's why we have this beginning stock subtraction. Okay, then divide by number of periods. So you have 5 periods. So you're getting 164 units. So how many workers will be required for 164 units? Because you don't want to hire and fire. So how many workers are will be required? You have to divide by 15 because one person is able to produce 15 units. Okay, is that clear?
Yeah.
So how many workers will be required? 11 workers. So we are going to require 11 workers. So as we require 11 workers, what happens next? You come and now say, these are demands. Okay, so those are the demand units. Then the beginning stock was 0. Okay. So we have the production, constant production, and the constant workers. So constant production and constant workers. Okay. So then you need to know one thing is that our ending stock is actually equal to opening stock. Okay, so opening stock then plus production okay, so opening stock plus production then minus the demand. So this is how you get the ending stock. Ending stock is the same as closing stock. Okay, so ending stock or closing stock is equal to opening stock plus production minus the demand. So the closing stock for a period is the opening stock for the next period. Closing stock for the period is the opening stock for the next period. That's what goes on. All right. So let's move on now here. What is our closing stock for the first period using the formula? We are going to have beginning stock plus production, which is 164. So beginning stock is 0, which is the beginning stock plus production, then minus the demand. For this one gives us what?
14.
So this 14 is the beginning stock for the next period. So this 14 comes here. All right. So we have the physical stock that we have current, which is 14 units. Okay. So the 14 units plus the production of 164 units.
164.
Okay, so production of 164 units. So you aggregate these. Okay, so we are going to have an aggregate. Okay, so it will be 14 plus 164, then minus 170.
8.
Yeah, so it's giving us 8. Okay, so we're going to have 8 there. This 80 is the beginning stock period. The 8 plus 164 and minus 180 is negative 8.
Negative 8.
Which is we don't have. So these guys, they are under pressure this time. They are under pressure. they have no, the stock isn't enough. You understand what I mean?
Yes.
So -8 here plus the 164, giving us what? -8 plus 164.
-8 plus 164 gives us 156.
156 minus the 160. It's not
Minus
actually
156 minus 4.
minus 4. So you have this minus 4. Minus 4 plus 164, then take away the 160. You're going to have 0.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Just do what you love, Mama. If you want to, you can be a
So you're
mama.
going to have what? You're going to have a 0 here. Not so.
Yes.
So that's why they said that no back order is allowed at the end of the 5th month. No back order is allowed
Okay.
at the end of the 5th month. No back order is allowed at the end of the 5th month. Okay? This is it, what goes on. So no back order is allowed at the end of the 5th month. All right, so this is what we have here. So now, what are we going to do? Here we have pressure in which month? Month 3 and month 4.
Month 3
So
and 4.
what are we going to do now? You can tell us what we can do? These 11 people, they can't manage to meet the demand in month 3 and 4. So what are we going to do?
Overtime.
There are 3 options.
Or you can do a
Overtime
back
or
order, overtime,
subcontracting.
and subcontracting.
You cannot
I
incur
think the
all.
question has said no back order, so overtime and subcontracting.
Subcontract.
No, the question is allowing back orders. They are not contradicting.
It's only
They are not
it's
contradicting.
only
Okay,
month 5 where they're saying no.
They just said no back order is allowed at the end of the 5th
Mm-hmm.
month. That's what
okay,
you get a point.
okay.
But it's possible for back order, but no back order is allowed at the end of the 5th month. Is it clear?
Yes.
That's clear.
All right. So
But again, when I read the question, when we look at the cost, there's no cost for back orders. We've been given for subcontracting and for
all of them.
overtime. I don't know whether it's just me, but I can't
Oh,
see the one for back order.
okay.
I think
Back order is same
there's
as a stocker. It's there. Check. Let
there's
me show you.
overtime, subcontracting, inventory holding
What is overtime?
cost
Overtime cost is how much? 75.
75,
Uh-huh.
Subcontracting was how much?
80.
80.
Oh, there,
Then
but the end of the
back,
sentence, back
then
order
back
is
order.
60 per unit.
Okay, okay, thank you.
So which option are we going for?
We
Which one?
start with overtime
Oh, I think
according
back
to
order saying that
the.
it's the cheapest per unit.
So you are very right. So what you are going to go for? So go for the back order cost. Back order cost is the cheapest cost. Okay, because it is $60. So So these 11 workers, you will need to tell them to knock off. You can't allow them to work overtime because overtime is cheap, is expensive. So here there are 11 workers, they can't meet the demand. So tell them to knock off. Then you just declare that you don't have stock in month 3 and 4 and incur the cost of back order costs. So that's why we can see here we multiplied this 8 by the 8 by what? 8 by 60. Okay. So 8 by 60. Then the same 4 here by 60. All right. So this is what is happening. So this is how we have gotten the back order cost of 720. So back order cost of 720 comes here, this side. Okay, so this 720 comes here. All right. So the other aspect that we're supposed to do here now is to look at the carrying cost. So carrying cost is 70 here because 14 units of physical stock, physical units is 14 are physically there. So 14 times 5 is 70. Then 8 units were physically there. So you have the cost of holding stock, which is multiplied by $5. Okay, so inventory holding cost is $5. Okay, so that's why we have those ones. Okay, so we are getting the 110. Then the regular production cost was how much? On the regular production cost, we have the regular cost.
Regular $50.
Yeah, so $50. So the $50 you actually multiply by how many units you are producing. So 164 units by $50, we are getting 8,200, 8 pin 12, 8 pin 2 throughout. This is giving us 41,000. Okay. So giving us 41 pin. So after this 41,000, you need to now aggregate 41,000 plus 720 plus 110. Then there's another cost. Who can tell me which cost we can incorporate here? Apart from the holding cost, the back order cost, and the regular cost, which other cost can we incorporate? Which other cost can we incorporate here? The other cost that we can incorporate is how much? Okay, what happened? We are down many workers. You said the current workforce, we are down many workers. On the current, how many
Oh,
workers?
we laid off in the 5th month.
So how many workers have we calculated here? on the labor basis, how many workers are we calculated?
We were calculating for 11 workers per period.
So meaning, what happened here is that we just laid off 1 week and maintained the 11. I told you about the labor strategy. You don't hire and fire. So here they just fired 1 worker. Okay, just fired 1 week. That's what they did. Just fired 1 week and maintained the 11. Okay, so that's what happened here. Is that clear?
Yes, that's clear.
So the total cost now here, total cost comes to 720 plus 110 plus the 82 plus 41,000, then plus the 200 for laying off 1 person. So the total cost comes to 42,030. All right, so 42,030. So that is the total cost of this plan. Okay, I'm sure we are together.
Yes, we are.
So this is about what happened. So since he had 12 workers and remained with 11 workers, it means that 1 worker was fired. So here we choose the chase strategy should be used in this case because it is cheaper. For the chase strategy, we had found the 41,900. So we found 41,900 for the chase strategy. Okay. Is that okay?
Yes, that's clear.
All right. So this is what goes on. Okay. So unless there are questions, but otherwise this is what is involved in okay, so this is what is involved in
So